What's up? What's up, family? Man, look, I wanted to come live tonight, just to have an open discussion. We're receiving a lot of questions about our upcoming workshop, from rent to wealth, and some people just had questions about like buying in this particular market. So I really wanted to just address the question, and have open discussion, if you will. So one of the main questions that we received was, should I continue renting right now, or and save money, pay off debt, or should I go ahead and purchase? Now, of course, this question is ongoing. I think this is just one of those universal questions, no matter what market we're in, no matter what's going on. I think this question is always going to be a valid question to those who are in the market right now, currently renting. I think, at some point everybody want to be debt free, but and I also think that anybody who have wealth as their goal in life is going to want to generate wealth for their families or create a legacy. So we created the From Rent to Wealth workshop. It's a 2026 Legacy Starts at Home. Now, the reason why we chose that topic, because man, it was a lot. It's a lot of wealth that was generated during COVID-19. That was 2020. I myself, we canceled 4 transactions that we was in the process of buying. Nobody knew what the market was going to look like, so we canceled it. Everybody sort of went into this protection mode, just protect what we got. And just looking back, and I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this. Had had we known what was going to happen within the market and understanding how the market trend works, that we all could have capitalized off of staying in whatever positions we had at the time. Because shortly after the 2020, I mean, the market skyrocketed. And if I'd have kept all 4 positions that I had in the market at the time, I mean, we could have tripled our income, our wealth, just for that split second. And so we end up getting out of those deals. And I mean, we still did very well during that time span. But just looking back, I always we always have a question and option. You know, should we wait to buy a home, or should we move forward with should we wait to buy a home, continue renting, or should we go ahead and move forward? Now, I'm always going to say this. The first thing you should always do is just contact your lender, talk to a real estate professional, understand what options you have, right? What is it costing you? What's the cost? And I think that's the biggest question. What's the cost that we have right now in the market? What is the cost? What is it costing me either to continue to rent, or what is it costing me if I go and buy, right? If I go and buy. And so honestly, over the last couple years, right, because of the interest rate, I think it's safe to say that for a lot of people, it was cheaper to rent than to own a home. Now, depending on which position you was in, because interest rates got pretty high up there, right? Interest rates got to 7, 8, 9. I've seen people get into a 9% interest rate. And it's only a very few reasons where I would go and buy with a 9 to 10% interest rate. And if I'm going to buy my primary home, that's not one of the reasons, right? I wouldn't buy my primary home with a 9 to 10% interest rate, especially if it's cheaper for me to rent. And so that's the biggest question, right? Wherever you're interested in buying, is it cheaper for me to rent? And so to do a rental analysis, that's what you first want to do. And it's easy to do that, right? You can go to rentometer.com. This is one of my resources. You should, if this is your first time going there, you should be able to, get your rent stuff for free. Just put in an address that you are looking at, look at what the estimated rent will be for that area. And or you can go, to Zillow or whatnot and see what properties out there, see what the rental rates are for the rent properties that are available for rent. And if you can rent in that area for cheaper than what your mortgage will be, right? And you can use a mortgage calculator, reach out to a mortgage broker. You can reach out to myself. I'm a mortgage broker. Get an estimated payment, what your payments will be. Then you can calculate what your estimated rent. Now, the estimated rent is higher than what the mortgage will be. Then that would be a good time to rent, Now, in that same scenario, if the mortgage is higher than what the rent will be, then of course it will be better to rent. But on the reverse side, if the mortgage is cheaper than what the rent will be, of course, it will be better to purchase than to rent. And if you're an investor, it'd be better to make those investments and rent it to people who are not ready and available to rent. So that's always a valid question for you to look at. Now, there's a lot of other scenarios, a lot of other things that we want to look at when we're talking about home buying. Um, I mean, a lot of people struggle with the credit, right? I always like to associate home buying with credit because home buying is one of the solid trade lines on your credit report that really helps increase your credit score. So anyone who's struggling like in the high sixes, mid sixes, high sixes, low sevens, and you just can't seem to get your credit score above that, it means that you don't have the right trade lines on your credit report and you don't have enough history, meaning age. Your average history or average trade line is probably anywhere between 3 to 5 years old. That's just not enough. If you want to get into the high sevens, eights, mid eights, 850s range, you want to have a average credit history of about 8 to 10 years. So that means that you got to have a long-term credit. And one of the true and sure ways to do that is acquiring a home and holding it for the long term. And so, man, there's so much for you to learn at our upcoming workshop, from rent to wealth. I mean, man, I will be breaking down exactly the wealth difference between someone who's rented for the last 6 years opposed to someone who's um owned a home for the last 6 years. And to be honest, it really does not matter what the interest rate is when I'm doing these comparisons. And so this is something I'm going to go over, and I'm going to show, I'm going to walk buyers through just what it looks like for you and how you can start building wealth and a legacy for your family at our next home buy workshop. So, man, I've also got a lot of questions about short-term rental. This year is our 5-year anniversary in the short-term rental market, and we've hit some monumental numbers. We've surpassed the $1 million mark. We've generated over $1 million through our short-term rentals. The first year, which is we only had one Airbnb. That Airbnb did some phenomenal numbers, and then every year we've been adding to our Airbnb portfolio. So this year we on our 5-year anniversary. We've mentored several people in getting to the Airbnb space. So looking for ways to generate cash flow in today's market is another very valid question and very good option. So I'm not going to really go into a lot of details of depth into the short-term rental at our workshop, but I will be touching bases on some investment options and what you should be looking for as a first-time home buyer, and what options you have to be able to convert our purchase into an investment or cash flow. A lot of people have questions about the 50-year mortgage, about all these different, very variable, non-conforming home loans. And you got to look at everything as a vehicle. Look at everything as a vehicle, right? Sometimes it is better to pay off debt, wait, save, and purchase later. I mean, we've consulted with quite a few buyers, and we advise them based on their projections, based on what's going on in the family. All right, look, let's put a 2-year plan out. Let's work on saving money, paying off debt. All right, working on building our credit. I gave them some things that they need to do, some credit cards, some trade lines they need to go and get, and how to change that operation. And they're coming to the workshop. We're going to be following up with them on that process and what it looks like to them. And also learning how to carry debt the right way. Sometimes we don't have to pay off debt to be able to increase our buying power or to be able to afford a home. Sometimes we got to learn how to carry debt the right way. So I do have some good resources when it comes to carrying debt, building your business credit, using your business, right, as an option to really structure things. I'm the first one to say it. If you got a car, if anybody watching this and you have a car, that car should not be in your personal name, right? We have options, we have solutions of how you can get that car financed in your business name. And man, we can go on and on and on. But look, our rent to Wealth Workshop, man. It's going down. It's happening here in Orlando, Florida, on Saturday, January 31st. All right. So if you're in the area and if you're interested in becoming a homeowner, want to learn how to build wealth through real estate, want to learn how to qualify, want to learn how to build your credit, what strategy to use, how to structure yourself, how to improve your debt load, right? How to improve your debt load, how to get access to more credit. All right. If you need funding for a project or renovation or an investment, all right, this is probably a good workshop to come to. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things. You have questions, we have answers. So make sure you register. I put the link in the body of this live. So make sure you go ahead and register. We have a form there to fill out. Come fill it out all the way to the end. It's going to ask you a few questions. And you will receive a text message or whatever. It's going to ask you what form do you like to communicate, whether it's text, email, call. Just choose whichever one you want us to reach out to you on, and we will verify your registration. And we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. It's from 12 to 5. It's going to be at the downtown library, right? The library in downtown Orlando from 12 to 5. All the details will be in the confirmation email. But look, bring your questions. I'm going to be going live, just talking about different aspects, different questions, all leading all the way up to this workshop. But please stay tuned. If you like our video, make sure you like it. We're going to be talking about interest rates. We're going to be talking about some things that the Trump administration is doing, some things that's going on in the real estate housing market. You know, I've had some people question me about the housing market going into a decline, and you know, it's one of the direct wording was that, you know, in the market right now, because we're in the process. We have our building company, Premier Homes of America. We actually launched it 2 years ago, and now we're starting our building process. So anybody who comes to the workshop, we'll put you on our list. And if you're interested in acquiring any of the homes that we're going to start building here in 2026, we have a goal to build 8 to 12 homes. So if you are interested in buying a new construction home, buying one of our properties, we can put you on the list, and you can actually customize your home. Right? We'll build it. We'll customize it for you. We're already picking up some lots that we're going to start building, but you know, we can keep you all up to date on that, and we'll be talking about more of that at our Homebuyer Rent to Wealth Homebuyer Workshop. But look, man, we have a lot of things going on in 2026, right? And we just want you to be informed. But we're going to be talking about different things. And one of the questions I meant to say that somebody asked me about, you know, what are we going to do about the market, right? The market is in a downspin, and people can no longer afford. Houses are not selling. This, that, and the third. So what I always like to emphasize, man, look, real estate is a hyper tensional market, and so every market is different. So if we're looking at like the Polk County area, right, Davenport area, well, right now that area have about 9 months of inventory on the market, so that is a buyer's market. So I wouldn't, you know, say if I'm going to buy there, I wouldn't go and you know, look into the Davenport area and say, look, I'm probably going to get a good deal if I'm going into Davenport area, right? It may not be the best place to sell right now. It's going to take a while to sell, but you'll probably get a good deal on, you know, some housing. Kissimmee, right? It's 11 months worth of inventory on the market. Same thing. But if you get into the Winter Garden area, your Orlando area, Ocoee area, Popka area, these areas only have like 3 months worth of inventory on the market. So those areas are sellers markets. So it's complete different dynamics. So I don't want you guys to get confused with some of the news that's going on, because you know a lot of people talk about the market as an overall generalization of what the market is. But every area is different, has a different demand, have a different inventory level, all right? And the home values and prices are different. So I had one person said they lost 300,000. No, they lost 100,000 in value over the last year. Well, in certain areas, there's places that the values has increased by 5%, 10%, 15%. There's areas that values haven't changed. So being up to date, all right, and understanding what's going on in the local market and help you make better informed decisions. But make sure you register to our up and coming home buyer workshop on January 31st to kick off the year the right way. All right. If you want to have a good business plan on how you're going to set the right foundation for your family going into 2026 and beyond, this is the workshop for you. My name is Emmett Combs. I'm a real estate broker here in the state of Florida, and Georgia. I'm a short-term rental specialist. I'm a mentor. I'm a coach, and a lot of other things, especially in the commercial world. I'm a consultant. Look, if you have interest in getting into the real estate market as a buyer, if you're looking to sell, you want to know what options you have, call me. I offer free consultations for items like that. If you are looking to build a portfolio, call me. I offer some free consultations for investment strategies. And if you are looking to get into real estate as a real estate agent, call me. We can also do a consultation for on board and see what options we have and if our team is the right fit for you. All right. Anyhow, 786-277-1190. You can use that number for any other options that I mentioned above. Like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.